Hey, welcome back. In this video, we will discuss about the class methods in Python. Okay, in Python, a class method is a method that is bound directly to the class rather than its individual object instances. Okay, currently, as you can see, we are having this greet method, the likes method, and the welcome method. These are basically attached to the object instances. Okay, these are not the class methods. Okay, so here we will create our own class method and then see what exactly is the difference. Okay, so for example, here I want to have a method which returns like, hey, how many person has been created by our person class. Okay, so how we can do that? We can do that quite simply. First of all, I will get just below the init here. Okay, and here, first of all, what exactly we have to do? We have to define a function, def get underscore, let's do created person. Okay, and here we will have our class method. But as you can see, if I just create this sort of a function here, that will be attached to the object instance. Okay, to differentiate that, Python has a decorator, which is the at class method decorator. So at class method. Okay, and I know we have not talked about the decorators in Python, but we will surely do in the upcoming videos. Okay, now once we apply this decorator, then this particular method or this function will be a class method. Okay, and instead of self, it will have the class itself, so cls. Okay, and here I can print the cls for now. Okay, so as you can see, this is our very simple class method. Okay, so here we are adding this class method decorator, and after that we are having this particular function which will get the class itself. Okay, I can call it self as well, so self, that is totally valid, but to be more specific and to follow the conventions, we should call it cls. Okay, all right, now how we can call this method? Okay, so let's see that. To call this method, what we have to do? We have to do something like this. So after this person has been created, so what I'll do, I'll just get rid of this one, get rid of this one, get rid of this one as well. Okay, and here we can do something like person dot get created person. Okay, all right, or get created person number. Okay, person number. All right, that should be updated as well. Okay, so now if I run the program, we are getting, as you can see, the person class itself. We are not getting an object back. Okay, we are getting the class itself. All right, I hope that you are able to understand what is the difference between the instance method and the class method. Okay, now what I can do something like this: return the if string. There are something like, so we have to have the person created. Okay, so person dot person created person created. Okay, quite simple. All right, now if I just call this function here, and as you can see, it is now returning the f string, so that is why we have to print, and here we go. Okay, now if I run the program, as you can see, there are 2 person created. Okay, so quite simple enough. And as you can see, this particular method is attached to this person class itself. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right, so this is the class method in general. So this is a quite simple method, And you might be wondering why we want to use something like that. So whenever we are getting some sort of a abstract data, we use the class method. And whenever we want to create some sort of a method which is attached to the class itself, we use the class method there. Okay, so now for practice, let's create another class method which will be a little bit more complicated. Okay, so first of all, what I can do something like this: add class method. Okay, and here we will create the function from underscore birth underscore year. So what exactly is the thinking behind this function? So currently right now, what we have to do, we have to pass the name and the age, right? And by default, the age is 20. But for example, we want to create the user by their birth year. So how we can do that? We have to do some calculations, right? For that, so we will create this class method for creating that particular object. Okay, so first of all, this class method will have the class, then it should get the name, and then it should get the year. Okay, now we have to calculate the age equals to something like that. Okay, I will just go with 10 for right now. And here what we can do, we can return the class with these ones. So we will pass the name and the age. Okay, simple enough. So what exactly we are doing? We are doing something like this. So the name which we will be getting, that will be here inside of the name, and we will get the age here. So how we can calculate the age? We can calculate the age by using the datetime module. Okay, so on the top of our file, we can import, or let's do from datetime import date. Okay, and here what we can do inside of this class method, instead of this hard-coded 10, we can do something like this: date dot today dot year minus the year which we are passing. So currently we are in 2026. Okay, and that will minus the year of birth for that particular user, and we will get the age from that. Okay, simple enough. All right, so now we can create another person here. So what we can do something like this: person 3. So we can do something like this, which is good, or we can do something like this. So person dot from birth year, and we have to pass the name, which can be something like Sarah, and the birth year might be something like 2000. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So now we can do something like this, and here we will get the get created person number. So the person number should be 3 here. Run the program. As you can see, there are 3 persons created. So our function worked properly. Okay, and also I can do something like this. So let's print the person 3, and let's see that object. Run the program. We are getting this object here. So to do that, what we can do dot and then double underscore dict double underscore. So it will be represented as a dictionary. Run the program. As you can see, we are getting the name, which is Sarah, and age, which is 26. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So this is how we can create our own class methods for our classes, okay, in Python. All right, so in this video we have learned about the class methods in Python.